My question is about my daughter. She's 14 years old, and she's very passionate about a few topics. Basically, about the cruelty against women that she has heard through media and whatever. Right from Nirbhaya's case, she has been involved and she has been researching crime rates in India, and so she's extremely kind of scared and paranoid about staying in India. So she says that is one of the reasons she wants to get out of this place as soon as possible because of all these things that is in her mind. She says she's even there's no freedom, like how some of her friends or cousins are in Australia or somewhere. They can go on their own with their friends, and it doesn't happen in India. She has to always watch her back and all that. So when she talks very passionately about it, I actually don't know how to react because we are not in a position to send her right away. Only maybe after her 12th or something, maybe after undergraduation, we might. So that is another 6 years away. So during this period, how do I handle this? I don't know what is the right way to tell her because I cannot invalidate her feelings also. She has all the statistics and everything. She makes her case, and so like this, a few other topics like LGBTQ and all these things she's very passionate about. Like when she's speaking, almost has tears in her eyes and she feels for all of these, that kind of passionate. So I want to know how to handle these situations.
So let me first understand the trouble. Your bigger question is that how do you deal with her wanting to go out of the country and you can't make that happen right now? Because I'm sure the trouble is not that she has those thoughts. In fact, maybe you kind of agree with her on some sort, but in terms of the actual action, right? That leaving the country, you're saying that that's not possible for your family.
And her reasons for it, like the cruelty against women and the sex crimes and all, that is the major reason for her to want to get out of it here.
So do you disagree with the reasons or just the decision to move out? Like, what do you disagree with?
Right now, against the reasons of her, like that, I feel like, I mean, like how you would say, we've all grown up in this country, and of course, yeah, there are a lot of bad things happening, but then it doesn't happen to everybody. So something like that, I want to tell her, like, this is not that bad a country to want to run away right away. So her reasons, I'm not able to completely justify.
And now you're wondering how can I have that conversation with her where you can convince her probably to, tone it down or just
basically because she's so passionate about it.
Okay. So before I get to the answer, I'm going to ask you, what have you tried so far? Okay, what are the methods that you've tried so far, and what happened there? Yeah.
So a couple of times we have had this long chats, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, forever. So where most part of it, I listen to her and I sit next to her and I tell her that I completely understand where you're coming from. And I can tell her that everything is not just news. What you know is actually has happened, but it is for a small percentage of people. Like we, our friends, our cousins, whoever is in India, everybody is fine. So that is not what happens to everybody. That is one point. And another point I tell her is, because you are in India, you are exposed to Indian media. So if you are in Australia or US, you will be exposed to that media and you will know what is happening there. Like, for example, I bring up George Floyd's case or whatever. There is other things that happen there. It's not like everything is hunky-dory there. Once you go there, you'll know. So these 2 points I keep bringing up, but she's not satisfied.
So I'll give you some pointers and what you can expect the best here, like some of those ideas. So the first thing is, and by the way, you've done it right. That's why I asked you that you do understand her points, like where she's coming from. So her original point is that women are facing so much cruelty. That's actually true. And even LGBTQ community, they have faced so much oppression too. That's actually true, right? Some of those things are true. But then what in such discussions where things fall apart is, about the intensity of it, about the probability of it, about the actual facts, about the context, and again, sometimes comparison factors too. Because let's say she's very passionate about it. Now, one of the things that come with passion is you sometimes get into your own bubble, which is your own news bubble, because then you are seeking that kind of information. And if somebody is denying it, they are seeking that kind of information. So you end up thinking the problem is way worse than it already is. Now, and you can actually always point to some individual horrific incidents, right? That happened to her. Her life was ruined. But again, it does not mean that we can make the same statement about the country as a whole. So these conversations, and anyway, because you can think of it slightly like a political conversation too, right? Because you're talking about what's happening in the society. So these conversations rarely lead to very immediate agreements, because there are just so many variables. And in that moment, what are you valuing? What are you putting important? So it's like, just to give you a small example, you can also be part of this meeting. Simply fill the form to join our email list or join the Telegram channel. Links are in the description. We will keep you updated with future events. We will also send you reminders. Joining these meetings is completely free. She in one moment can give safety a very, very high level of value. Okay, this is the most important thing. And then some other woman, somebody can say, you know what, even if, let's say, worst case scenario, somebody makes a cat call, or somebody actually misbehaves with you, right? But at least you are in a country where you are around your relatives, right? So that now think about this. And now how do you compare those things, right? I'm able to live around my relatives versus my safety. Now, if I go to another country, I don't see my relatives, but here I can get molested. So the thing is, these conversations ultimately really come down to what? A discussion of what do you really value against what other things do you value. Understand? So this is why you will never get into statistics agreement with you, because even statistics can be really, really manipulated or presented in a different manner. It's like bias motivated reasoning. When you are trying to present a safe reality, you will gather all those facts against other countries, how they are bad. She'll gather all the facts against this country, and then both are facts. But how do you then, so it's usually very difficult to come up with very rational and objective data driven answers, because data can be interpreted in so many ways. So what you do is you get into deeper discussions, and those are the difficult ones. What do we really value in life? So in your context, you can lay out all the deeper things, which is, okay, I value safety, I value education, I value money, I value the culture here, I value. So you write all the things that you value versus she values. And then the discussion goes on a deeper level. And then if you really want to convince her of something, first of all, you will have to be able to tell her, okay, why are your values or your sense of priorities is better. So it's like if somebody wants to today start working, get fit. So they say, you know what, the one thing I'll do is I'll just start drinking more water, and probably I'll walk every day. But a nutritionist might come and say, you know what, you're eating so much junk food, no matter what you do with that walk or water, you first have to cut that down. Now both are true. Walk would help, water would help, but then that would help too. So the goal of the nutritionist is not to invalidate her or him. The goal would be, how do we shift the priorities here so that we get to the best outcomes. So your child, she ultimately wants to live a good life, and she wants to live in a good country, right? A good society, a goal which is not different from your goal, right? Both of your goals are very different, and this is the starting point. Now the question is, what do we do about it? Okay, and how do we achieve those, and how do we a great start would be sit down with her and tell her what are the top 3 or 4 things that you value in life and why, and reason with her. And then maybe you can bring your rational perspective that this is what I value in life and for such and such reasons. So this is one way to have that conversation once you're talking about where it's coming from. Now another part is, who do you know? How do you know that you're right? Maybe actually she's right. So why am I saying that is, maybe if she finds a way to get out of this country, right, and live in a safer country in the West, that actually could turn out to be a better decision for her life. So be open to that as a mother or as a human being. You cannot deny that that actually could be a great choice. So the idea here is, when you enter into a conversation, you have to value that choice completely. Even though it can't happen right now, maybe for certain circumstances, but you have to be intellectually open to that. That actually is not a bad idea. And unless you are open to that, she can sense it. Mom is already close to this idea. What's the point talking to her? So, and once you're open to that, remember these two things. Internally, be prepared for the fact that if she's intellectually disagreeing with you, or intellectually again ultimately making a different decision when she turns 18 or she wants to go somewhere, and those are reasonable decisions too. So the outcome is actually out of your hands, something to accept in advance of the conversation. If you're not prepared for the fact that you won't reach an agreement, then the conversation can get very heated and you can become enemies of each other, right? Because you're not prepared for the disagreement. So prepare for that in advance. And also ultimately people in these discussions, you can always think that, okay, you know what, if I bring my best rationale, and best rationale is definitely one of the best ways to handle a conversation, but also maintain a good relationship, positive one. And again, I don't know the details of it, but if you think that if you can just give better arguments, then she can out-reason you, right? But if the friendship is really good, if she really values you as a person, right? If the relationship is good, then suddenly is just the compromise that she would want to make for you, that compromise will go up. Because, okay, you know what, now I really value, because I love my mom so much and she, the relationship is so good. So that's why in such discussions I say take care of the rationale but also the relationship. Okay, so these are some of the points to keep in mind. Okay. Hello parents, these videos can help you to some degree, but if your problems are really serious or complex, you should come for counseling. We are a group of psychologists who specialize in counseling parents and children. We can help you with problems like anger management, managing child's screen addiction, motivation for studies, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, developing better values and independence in children, using healthy ways of authority to make your child follow your instructions and respect the boundaries, and many more issues. We now have worked with over 200 parents, 800 plus sessions with an average satisfaction rating of 4.7. You can book your sessions directly from our website. Link is in the description. If you are a psychology student or a mental health professional who is passionate about helping parents and children and would also like to work with us, we can give you training, internships, or even a job. Please go to our website page to find the details. Link is in the description.